and the village's board of trustees after multiple members did not attend tonight's meeting.
I'm about to address some things as supervisor. There will be no comments. There will be anything that is beneath.
Tiffany Henyard's world is crumbling, and this time it's more than just whispers behind closed doors. Explosive footage, allegedly leaked by her own team, has thrown her already embattled political career into deeper turmoil. The video has only fueled speculation that her closest allies are turning against her, leaving Henyard scrambling to maintain control. Whether this is the result of karma or a calculated effort to bring her down, one thing is certain: her days of unchecked power are rapidly coming to an end. Once the self-proclaimed Queen of Dolton, Henyard's rule has devolved into a chaotic spectacle, with scandals following her at every turn. Rather than quelling the controversy, she has only stoked the flames. After a Board of Trustees meeting was cancelled due to lack of attendance, Henyard pushed forward with critical decisions in their absence, blindsiding the town by appointing a new village administrator and attorney. Many saw this as a desperate attempt to bypass opposition and tighten her grip on power. While some might call her defiant, others see her leadership as reckless, a sentiment echoed across the community as her once firm control continues to erode. The backlash was immediate. The Illinois Attorney General's office condemned Dolton for repeated violations of the Open Meetings Act in both June and July, announcing an official investigation into Henyard's administration. Meanwhile, residents have grown increasingly vocal in their frustration, accusing her of running the village like a fortress. Public meetings now take place behind locked doors, leaving many in Dolton feeling completely shut out of the very government meant to serve them. Henyard has justified these extreme security measures by citing a sarcastic letter sent to her mother's house, written in blue marker, calling them both losers. While certainly rude and unprofessional, the letter hardly constituted a legitimate threat. Nonetheless, Henyard and her administration used it as a pretext to ramp up security at Village Hall, a move that many believe is more about exerting control than ensuring safety. Critics argue that this so-called security concern is merely a thinly veiled excuse to conceal her growing paranoia and desperation. As the chaos within Dolton's administration spirals, public interest in Henyard's leadership has plummeted. Attendance at village meetings has dwindled, with fewer than 20 residents showing up for what she touted as major announcements. This waning engagement reflects a broader sentiment. People are simply exhausted by her antics. Yet instead of reassessing her approach, Henyard continues to double down on controversy, refusing to step away from the spectacle. Her latest move, appointing a new village administrator and attorney, has done little to restore confidence. Instead, it appears to be another strategic maneuver to replace potential challengers with loyalists who will safeguard her precarious regime. One appointment in particular has raised eyebrows. Keith Freeman, a key figure in her administration and rumored to be privy to all of her secrets. Many suspect he was brought back to shield her from mounting legal and political pressure. While this reshuffling may be an attempt to strengthen her position, critics see it as yet another desperate ploy to cling to power. What makes Henyard's situation even more astonishing is her unwavering defiance, even in the face of intensifying scrutiny. Despite the Attorney General's rebuke over repeated transparency violations, she has refused to change course. Instead of adopting a more cooperative or strategic approach, she continues to alienate the public, embracing a leadership style that leaves little room for trust or collaboration. Dolton residents, once hopeful that Henyard's tenure would bring real change, now find themselves stuck in the fallout of her increasingly erratic behavior. The village remains in financial and administrative disarray, with allegations of misused taxpayer funds, ongoing legal battles, and now, internal leaks exposing the dysfunction at the highest levels. Scandal has become the defining feature of her leadership. Henyard's actions resemble those of a leader in free fall, desperately making high-stakes decisions to maintain control. Yet no matter how calculated these moves may be, they are being overshadowed by mounting legal troubles and growing public discontent. Whether she can withstand the pressure or if Dolton's residents will finally demand change remains to be seen. But one thing is undeniable. Her once unshakable grip on power is slipping fast.
Days of notice. 10 days of notice to the public. Certainly notice to the mayor. You know what they did?
Tiffany Henyard's once formidable grip on power is rapidly unraveling as scandals questionable decisions, and internal betrayals plague her leadership in Dalton. Once widely supported, Henyard's authority has sharply declined, with her increasingly desperate attempts to maintain control drawing more criticism than support. Her latest power plays, including last-minute appointments meant to solidify her hold on the village, have only deepened the turmoil. These decisions were swiftly declared invalid by interim mayor Jason House, further undermining her fragile position. House did not mince words, stating that the lack of a quorum at the meeting rendered all actions illegal, regardless of Henyard's insistence otherwise. Yet rather than back down, Henyard doubled down, dismissing the backlash as manufactured drama and even alleging that some of her critics were planted to stir controversy. However, the cracks in her control are undeniable. Her once loyal inner circle is shrinking, and even longtime allies, such as Keith Freeman, are now entangled in the fallout of her crumbling administration. Freeman, once a trusted confidant and village administrator, has found himself at the center of controversy and legal peril. Rumors have swirled that he may be cooperating with the FBI, which allegedly led Henyard to try to fire him, suspecting that he was turning against her. This dramatic fallout between two figures who once defined Dalton's leadership signaled a major fracture in her administration. Freeman's troubles extend beyond politics, as he faces a federal indictment for bankruptcy fraud, accused of concealing assets and misrepresenting his income. Additionally, he has been embroiled in allegations of unlawful retaliation, allegedly dismissing workers who refused to support Henyard. Despite their history of bending rules together, Henyard wasted no time distancing herself from Freeman, attempting to sever ties before their association could further damage her already embattled reputation. However, Freeman's legal troubles have only amplified the criticism of Henyard's administration. His alleged misconduct, ranging from retaliatory firings to financial mismanagement, has led to lawsuits in both Dalton and Thornton Township. Yet when Henyard attempted to remove him from his township role, the Board of Trustees resisted. Trustee Chris Gonzalez pointed out that no official documentation had been presented regarding Freeman's firing or promotion, rendering any such action unlawful. Gonzalez further emphasized that any legitimate personnel changes required board approval, reinforcing the perception of Henyard's disorganized and overreaching governance. Freeman's downfall has not shielded Henyard from scrutiny. If anything, his indictment has drawn further attention to the instability within her administration. His bankruptcy fraud charges, paired with accusations that he attempted to conceal assets, have only added to the public embarrassment surrounding Henyard's leadership. Meanwhile, her high-profile stunts, such as ramping up security at Village Hall over a sarcastic letter, have done little to restore confidence in her governance. The letter, deemed a weak excuse for her extreme security measures, has come to symbolize the paranoia consuming her administration and the widening disconnect between Henyard and the community she once claimed to champion. As federal investigators close in, Henyard's grip on power continues to weaken. Her recent moves, reshuffling her administration and attempting to tighten control, have backfired, exacerbating the already volatile political climate in Dalton. In distancing herself from Freeman, she likely hoped to sidestep the fallout from his mounting legal troubles and avoid deeper scrutiny of her own role in his misconduct. However, her failure to secure the backing of the Board of Trustees or maintain the loyalty of her closest allies has left her looking increasingly vulnerable and disorganized. Far from diverting attention away from Henyard, Freeman's legal troubles have only reinforced public perceptions of an administration mired in scandal, corruption, and self-preservation. As Dalton faces an uncertain future, its residents are left grappling with the fallout from an administration riddled with infighting and controversy. Once a dominant political force, Henyard now stands increasingly isolated, with legal and political pressures mounting. With former allies tarnished by scandal and internal dissent threatening to fracture what little support she has left, her efforts to weather the storm appear increasingly futile. The only question that remains is whether she can survive this latest wave of challenges, or if her troubled tenure is finally reaching its inevitable conclusion.
That's correct. We spoke with one of the plaintiffs who says that she was fired for not being a yes man, for not.
Tiffany Henyard's once firm grip on power is rapidly slipping as scandals, questionable decisions, and internal betrayals continue to undermine her leadership in Dalton and Thornton Township. Despite her relentless efforts to maintain control, ranging From severing ties with former allies to employing dubious legal tactics, the cracks in her administration are becoming impossible to ignore. One of the most telling signs of her waning authority is